Good morning, it's Phil Thatch here, and today I am at the Brainerd Levee, which is part of the South Chickamauga Creek Greenway here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Some friends of mine, Joy for one, and David Aborn, have seen some pretty interesting wildlife here, so I thought I'd come and check it out. I'm pretty sure this is the location where my sister and her husband come and walk all the time, so even if you're not into birding, although they are, even if you're not into birding, this is a great place just to come and walk. You have to hike a pretty good ways to get to where the wildlife is, so I can't carry, or I mean, I guess I could. I won't be carrying my biggest, heaviest lens. I'm going to carry the D500 and the 200-500, and I'm going to carry a 1.4 teleconverter as well on a monopod. So let's get to it and see what we can find. Well, according to the signs, I've hiked about 6/10 of a mile, and I've come upon a water feature. It's right behind Boyd Buchanan School, but I don't think you can, if you're not a member of their faculty or what have you, I don't think you can get to it from the other side. But it's great from up here on the levee. I'm looking down at this water. There's lots of great egret over there. I think I saw a cattle egret, pretty sure I saw a green heron. Lots of fairly unusual birds for the greater Chattanooga area. So to try to get maximum power with minimum weight, I brought the 200-500 lens on the D500, and I also brought the 1.4 teleconverter. So that gives me 500 times 1.4 is 700, and then you multiply that times a further 1.5 because of the small sensor in the D500, and that makes my effective millimeters 1050. Of course, this is a 5.6 lens, and adding the 1.4 teleconverter, which at this distance I've discovered I really need, but that makes my minimum aperture f8. That's the bad news. The good news is we're backlit with the sun here, although I do have a cloud right now, so f8 is fine. While I am seeing the juvenile little blue heron, which is pretty rare for this area, they're kind of further back, and it's the great egret that are the closest and the largest bird down there, so I'm able to fill the frame the best with them. So in the interest of photography, it's the great egret that I'm making most of my photos of. But from a birding point of view, it's the little blue heron, the juvenile little blue heron, that are far more interesting. And wow, we're right by an airport and a Learjet just took off. That's awesome. Okay, so I've seen lots and lots of species of birds. Great egret, cattle egret, green heron, little blue heron juveniles, mallards, Canada geese, wood ducks, not in breeding plumage, red-winged blackbirds. So lots of species of birds right here in this one location. And because I'm a complete moron, I've gotten into two separate fire ant hills. My ankles are on fire. They are absolutely burning and itching. So I don't know, maybe put some insect repellent on your ankles, or don't get off of the asphalt trail to try to get a little closer like I did over and over. But watch out for the fire ants here because they're everywhere. Okay, so here are the photographs from the levee. We'll start out with this great egret. That's 650 millimeters, so I didn't have the 200-500 zoomed all the way out, because if I did, it would say 700 millimeters right up here. f8, that's wide open. I'm using automatic ISO, and I'm adjusting my exposure with exposure compensation. So this is ISO 180, which is really cool. I'm only doing 1/1250th of a second, and I learned pretty quickly that I could up that quite a bit, especially with these white birds backlit. This picture's very heavily cropped, but I wanted to show that there were wood ducks there, and I like that there's two turtles stacked on top of each other. I mean, the picture's horrible, but this is just demonstrative purposes that there were wood ducks at the Brainerd Levee. I really like this picture. I've actually edited this a pretty good bit. I've taken some cut off Canada geese out from this side and this side. but it's just a large group of Canada geese flying over. And here is one Canada goose flying near the water. Here is a green heron. This log is very near the bottom of the levee. Green heron are really small. They're smaller, in fact, than little blue heron. And matter of fact, a lot of people call green heron, they call them little green heron because they're so small. But the actual name is just green heron. And great egret are very large, so the combination of the great egret being relatively close and very large made it easy for me to choose them to photograph. And you can see this one's at 700 millimeters, so that is the 200 to 500 zoomed all the way to 500 and the 1.4 teleconverter. Beautiful bird. You don't see them. I mean, they are around here fairly often, but it's normally hard for me to get close to them. But here at the Brainerd Levee, I was able to get close enough to fill the frame, so that was really nice. Here's another in-flight Canada goose. And this great egret is hunting. And you can see I'm up to 1/2000th of a second and still only 720 ISO, so that on a D500 720 ISO you can get a fairly clean image at that ISO level. Here's a little blue heron juvenile flying in. I like that shot quite a bit. It's cropped a pretty good bit, but not hugely. And then I found this turtle up on the semi-paved area at the top of the levee. Here's a little blue heron. I had lots of photos of this little blue heron here kind of bouncing around the water. None of them were fantastic, and this one's not as well, but I liked it because there's a turtle there in the picture with it as well. And here's a great egret. I square cropped this one because it just looked better that way, and it's on this log with a couple of turtles, so I like that. And here is a little blue heron juvenile in flight. You can see out of focus in the background, that's the bleachers at the football stadium at Boyd Buchanan. Here's a great egret doing some fishing. I never did see any of them catch any big fish. I'm thinking that they're just getting maybe some minnows in this water. Here's another. I call this photo eye to eye because you can see the reflection. You can probably see the reflected eye better than the actual eye in this shot, but I like that one pretty much. And here's a little blue heron juvenile in flight. I like the trees in the background, so that's kind of cool. And here's another one. This is the same flyby, but this one I just did not like the way the background looked in color, so I black and whited it. And boy, it's really noisy at 3200 ISO, but I still like it a little bit. And there is another little blue. And I really like this one, this great egret, checking out its beautiful plumage. And then as I was walking back to the car, this is past where you can see the great wildlife at the Brainerd Levee, but this is a juvenile brown-headed cowbird, you know, and they're famous for laying their eggs in other birds' nests, and the other birds end up raising them. And this much smaller song sparrow is feeding this juvenile brown-headed cowbird like it is its own offspring. And that's the last of them. Starting to get a few raindrops now, so I guess I'm going to call it a day. Got about 6/10 of a mile to hike out of here, and I just assume do that with it not raining, or at least not raining hard. Hopefully the pictures come out good. I'm sure I think if I'm doing this like I'm planning to do this, I will have been showing you pictures all through the video, and then here at the end I'll show them all to you again. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.